Alright guys, today's story is dark, messy, and unfortunately very real. Singer David, you might know him from songs like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me, is at the center of a full-blown homicide investigation after a body was discovered in a Tesla registered to him. And this is not just internet gossip anymore. This is very serious, and this gets worse as it goes along. Like you can pretty much guess how this is going to play out. So stay tuned and do subscribe for more updates. Authorities in Los Angeles confirmed that on September 9th, they discovered a decomposed female body in the front trunk of a Tesla after it was towed from the Hollywood Hills, and that car was registered to David, which is pretty crazy. And already that's just a weird situation. The fact it's not even reported missing or whatever. Like, the Tesla was not reported missing, it was just there and just had a body in it. So I mean, pretty much already that's incredibly suspicious. Right now police are treating this like a homicide investigation. According to reports, David himself has been cooperating fully with authorities while continuing his Witherwill tour. Importantly, as of now, he hasn't been charged with anything. But yeah, so the identity of the body has basically been revealed, and it's now been identified that it's 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And instantly authorities pointed out that she had a tattoo on her right index finger with the letters shh. David has the exact same tattoo also on his right index finger, which is pretty telling already. I mean, at this point, you can pretty much link them up. Like, in my head, it's difficult not to, but okay, let's just keep going. And yeah, as you can see in this missing person poster, she was age 13 at the time she was missing, and she was about to turn 14 and would have been 15 now, which is pretty crazy. This means at the time he was a 13-year-old girl. That is honestly that is sickening. Why can't these celebrities just be normal? That's the thing. I don't understand. It's just I can't wrap my brain around why he first off would go for a girl this young in the first place, especially knowing his career, but just doing it anyway and just knowingly, potentially, allegedly murdering this girl over what seems like it could be maybe his career or, you know, a potential scandal. Like, I don't know how you could do this to someone so young to save herself like this. If this all comes out as just pretty much confirmed and he gets charged for this is honestly gotta be the worst way a celebrity's gone down in history for anything, bro. This is truly psychopathic. And now it gets even messier with alleged screenshots being released from David's Discord. Messages supposedly showing him talking directly to someone named Celeste, with people in the server even saying, pretty sure he's dating her. That is so damning already. I mean, here are some screenshots. I'll put them on the screen as I'm talking here. And there's also photos circulating of David with a girl people claim is Celeste. One viral TikTok even says Celeste and David don't let me sleep, supposedly showing them together at 3:51 a.m. So naturally the internet has basically declared him guilty on the spot. I mean, everything here is alleged, I do repeat, but it is so damning. It almost feels disrespectful to say that, because this is horrible. Like, this is a 15-year-old girl we're talking about who looks to be just a victim of such power and oppression. This is exactly why we stop people like and people in positions of power, because the people who are being oppressed in this system cannot surmount against this kind of power. If you get what I'm trying to say, like, it's almost evil to use such great power against someone. Like, you know what Spider-Man says? I'm not gonna say it because it's a bit harsh taste, but it is true, as corny as it sounds. Now, here's where we need to be careful. A lot of this so-called evidence is unreliable in these screenshots, for example. Screenshots can be doctored, photos can be taken out of context, and even if they are real, there's a massive difference between circumstantial online drama and actual police investigation. You may be screaming at me right now in the comments saying, oh my gosh, you're siding with this guy. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to be competent with aligning with the law. Obviously, we don't know truly legally what the matter is yet, and we've only seen through screenshots that we presented through Twitter that haven't been truly confirmed by the authorities. Like, the authorities actually getting information to verify whether these are true. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. It's difficult to believe this is doctored, but like I said, this is serious and we have to take this serious. So yeah, unfortunately for David, the optics here are brutal, and whether he is guilty of anything or not, brands are already cutting ties, fans are deleting his music off playlists, and his reputation is hanging by a thread. Like, we have a post here saying, David, a murderer and a pedo. Like I said, we can't say that for sure. We don't exactly know legally, but yeah, it's difficult. It seemed the evidence is overwhelming. David cracked a 13-year-old when he was 18, wrote songs about her, her, put her in a trunk. This N-word is guilty and should be a slave in his next life. That is so brutal. And honestly, yeah, so you can see the consensus about him is not really positive online as it is right now. And yeah, let's not forget that the center of this story is a very real tragedy. A teenage girl is dead and her family is grieving. The internet picking apart every rumor might make for clicks, but it can also muddy the truth. So while the memes and exposed threads are flying, this is still a very much open police investigation, and we have to be sensitive and careful about that. So where does that leave us right now? David hasn't been charged with anything, but the evidence circulating online has basically destroyed his public image overnight. Was he secretly dating this girl? Is he a murderer? Or is the internet playing jury way too early? Also, this is kind of a side point. This is a bit weird, but it's kind of interesting. And what do you think about, the implications in some of these Twitch streamers like Pokimane or Jason the Ween, for example, who've collaborated with David and made songs with him? Obviously, I don't believe they've done anything and have been, some just co-conspirator or whatever it's called in this case. I don't believe that. But I do believe this could potentially have some negative impacts as people could potentially, maybe start looking in a different light. I don't think they're bad, let me reiterate. But like how David has had brands taken away from him, merely being associated with bad people can do this to you. And so, honestly, yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Honestly, I think they'll be fine, but it is interesting to see if people in relation to him do get a hit from this, because yeah, brands don't really understand and they'll just drop you like that, to be honest. But this is also a bad situation, so you never know how platforms like Twitter, for example, can react. We all know what comes from Twitter. Yeah, man, either way, overall, this isn't good. And if you're even in relation to a 13-year-old girl, which this tattoo and everything in the same place, it's just so perfect. If you're doing this, it is likely you're a questionable person, so to just be hanging around someone who's obviously not like a convicted pedophile or anything and like people know about it, but there's a lot of people like this in the industry and you just don't know. You just don't know. Like time after time, how many YouTubers have we heard coming out as pedophiles, coming out as people who've done sexual assault, sexual harassment? Not even that, but this goes back further and further. Like even celebrities and TV stars have obviously been convicted of this, and yeah, it just shows that being a TV personality or an entertainer doesn't stop you. It doesn't mean that you should idolize these people, honestly. Like we should stop this whole thing of idolizing people and pretending like you should put them on a pedestal, because it is bad and it leads to things like these power dynamics like you're seeing here. If this is true, then the power dynamic here would have been that he was 18 at the time and she was 13, which obviously is incredibly abusive, and I just wouldn't wish this on anyone, man. For the sake of the girl, I wish this was under different circumstances. Maybe this isn't true, but already her body was decomposing in the trunk of a car anyway. This couldn't have been positive for her, and I can only pray for her and her family. We are gonna have to wait for official confirmation from law enforcement before we know the full truth. Until then, this is just a sad case, and it doesn't look very good for David. He's in a very sticky situation. I'll be surprised if he comes out winning on the other side. I'd either believe he just has some god tier plot armor, or he's just secretly a billionaire, because like I said, it doesn't look very good. But if you want to stay tuned for more news on this, subscribe.